Hi everybody. I know it's been a while now, but I was just busy doing things. Um, Today I'm going to touch a little bit on Rolling Stones member Brian Jones. Brian Jones was born on February 28th, 1942, in Cheltenham, England. In his early life, he had a couple of, you know, um, a little health issues with asthma and things. He had it for most of his life. His parents were musically influenced. His mother was a musician, and his father taught the choir at the local church. Um, he had two sisters. Her sister, his sister Pamela, was born in 1943, October of that year, and sadly passed away in October 1945 when she was two. Really sad. It's really sad. And um, Brian's second sister, Barbara, was born in August 1946. And in the 50s, around 1959, when he did dating, he had actually became a father at age 17, you know, and he had a couple of children. He had children. And his son was born in 1960. Jillian Brian Jones, and he had another child born in 1964. On the 12th of July 1962, he was starting his own band and was looking for musicians. Ian Stewart on piano and Dick Knight on bass. Dick Knight, yeah. Then he met Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and started, an R&B group. They met at the Marquee Club in 1962, July of that year. And then eventually, Bill Wyman replaced Knight on bass, and on drums, Charlie Watts. You know, thinking. Brian Jones was very talented. He played a lot of instruments: the harpsichord, the sitar, the flute, especially guitar, percussion, and organ, piano. The saxophone, on especially on tracks. The Beatles, Do You Know My Name? He played different tracks, and he played a lot of different instruments. He was very skilled. Unfortunately, in 1967, well, there's time he had his girlfriend Anita Pallenberg. Jones was hospitalized for apparent drug use, and Anita was stolen by Keith, and then things went downhill. He used more drugs, and sorry, I think the camera wasn't in front of frame, and then got in trouble with the law. In May 1968, Jones was arrested for cannabis. And recently, their Satanic Majesty's Request was released in December of 1967. And they promoted Bigger's Banquet in about May or June of 1968. I think it was eventually was released, I think, in November of that year. Yeah. And then in December 1968, the Stones done the Rock and Roll Circus, and it showed Jones um, you know, also left out he played the harmonica, and he appeared in the Stones' final pictures and photos session on the 29th of May 1969. The Stones wanted to tour the US in 1969, but Jones couldn't receive a work permit and a visa. And on the 8th of June 1969, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Charlie Watts informed Jones that he was no longer part of the band anymore. And Jones went back to his home in Crutchford Farm, Hartfield, England. He was reported to be getting better and maybe starting his own band. But during this time, the Stones were promoting "Let It Bleed," and around a little after midnight on July 2nd, 1969, while Jones was in his swimming pool going for a swim, he was depressed, and he decided that it was all over. And then he drowned himself in his own swimming pool. He passed away shortly after 1 a.m. on July 3rd, 1969, at his home in Hartfield, Crutchford Farm, Sussex, England, the east of Sussex, England. And sorry if you hear the rain, if you hear the sound, it's rain. It's the rain, Very sad story. What happened to Brian. It was very sad. And when the message came to the Stones, they were kind of muted. They were very shocked. They didn't want to continue forward with all the tracks for their "Let It Bleed" album. And during this time, Mick Taylor was with the Stones. He played on the tracks, most of the majority of the album, all the way through. And yeah, and virtually Mick Taylor left the Stones in 1974, in December of that year, and then Ronnie Wood became lead guitarist of the Stones. And rest in peace, Brian Jones. And thanks for watching.